parallel reality reading. Top of the deck, overall energy. So what we're looking at right now is we're tapping into the parallel version of yourself that has all the things that you desire. What is their life like right now? What is this version's life like right now? Queen of Pentacles and the freaking Empress. So the masculine energy of this version of self values the feminine energy, sees how precious feminine energy is. What's feminine energy? Emotion, creativity, receptivity, intuition, and the masculine energy in this version of reality absolutely values and appreciates it. The feminine energy is truly in her element. The Empress is the embodiment of creativity, abundance, everything that this masculine energy is valuing. The feminine energy is fully embodying. This is I don't chase, I attract energy. This is an energy of really believing you have everything you need, looking around you and seeing all of the abundance everywhere around you. That is this version of self. This is all these good things flow to me and come to me. It's really, really beautiful and receptive energy, receiving a lot of abundance. So this is a version of self that has the Bentley. This is the version of self that has like an effortlessness with being able to receive inspiration, money, love, good food, good friends, like really amazing experiences. That's the version of self we're looking at right now, and that's where they are sitting pretty. The underlying energy around them right now, transformation. The Death card in the back of the mind here for the masculine energy, and the Nine of Pentacles. Something has really changed for this version of self. They are no longer experiencing an energy of overindulgence, self-indulgence, having to be alone. There is a feeling of independence that comes from the Queen of Pentacles, and it's independence on her own terms, but it's something she's willing to share with someone else. Whereas the Nine of Pentacles is somebody who's more learning to like be liberated and free and independent on their own, all on their own. So I think that this version of self has entered into probably a really good, strong connection with someone and is given up their single and independent energy, or single and free energy, but they still do have a sense of independence and value themselves. So something really has transformed for that version of self. So now what we're asking this version of self, we're saying, okay, higher version of self, clearly you're in a good place. Queen of Pentacles and the Empress card, total transformation going on. What is it that I am doing that I would need to do differently to be like you? Okay, so we are getting, the first thing here is the Knight of Wands. Stop being attracted to this energy. And the Four of Pentacles, bitch. I didn't say that the parallel version of self was gonna be nice. Because there's a little saltiness here that's like, if you want to have what I have, then you need to be consistent. I was just thinking to myself that my lives, I need to be more consistent with my lives. And I've had a lot of upheavals going on lately. My car was repossessed last week. My son was kicked out of his dad's house and now has to live at his grandparents' house. I still don't have enough money to move in with him. My uncle's in the hospital in really, really critical condition. It's been like a really terrible week, but I've actually done really well. I've been in good spirits. I mean, outside of being sad about my uncle and everything, I've handled each thing well. I've had my family around me. I've had support around me, and I keep being grateful and finding ways to just be at peace with what's going on. I'm definitely doing better, but there's a lot of drama. And so I haven't been able to be as consistent with my lives. And one thing, I signed up with an agency recently, and consistency I know is key in doing lives. And so I'm trying to get back into that pattern again. But this version of self is saying, when you're passionate about something, when you are really wanting to be creative about something, you need to be really consistent. You need to build a foundation with that consistency. It's one thing to get swept away by something, and you should allow your passions to sweep you off your feet, but you have to make sure that you can keep the fire going. You know, I usually go all or nothing with lives. Like I'm going live every day at 11 p.m. and I burn out. You can't do that. You have to make sure you're being a little bit more pragmatic here with the Five of Pentacles energy. Now, the other meaning, this is for relationships in particular, and this is where I was saying that this parallel version of self is being a little salty here. This version is like, bitch, why are you holding on to these fools? Why are you holding on to these Knight of Wands energy people that are inconsistent, inefficient, that are like just kind of dipping their wick wherever, okay? This is not an energy of somebody that you want to be holding on to. This is not a king. This is not an emperor. This is just somebody that is like sowing their wild oats, and you happen to be standing in the field. So you are holding on to energy that is really not mature enough or developed enough or masterful enough of their sexual energy or their passions or whatever it is. You're accepting love bombing from that kind of energy. You are just kind of liking the attention that you're getting without having any real substance come from it. For as long as you continue to do that, you will be missing out on this Empress energy that this version of self is in. So they're like, let go, let it go. Attention alone is not enough. It's not enough. If you give yourself attention, if you like your own company, if you fulfill your own needs, something happens to you. And that's what this energy is about here in the Nine of Pentacles. You have to make sure that you have this down. Because I'm telling you right now, I was with my sister tonight hanging out, and we were talking about dating apps. And I looked at my Hinge app, and I have 68 potential people to go through right now if I were to do that. There's been many times in my life when I do not have even like 3 people on a dating app that match with me that I care at all to look at. And I've entered into a time frame where there's like, I shifted the energy where now I do feel that people are attracted to me. They want to get to know me. They want to meet me, whatever. And I'm experiencing a lot of them are just in this energy, but I don't hold on to it. I'm really kind of excited to see this because I am shifting into an energy of not holding on to any energy that just gives me attention. But if I just wanted attention, I could get it. But none of that attention that I would get from those, not none of it, most of the people, because I know there's probably some really good people that are in that group of 68 people. But a lot of them are just going to give me this shallow attention that doesn't really feel good. That's not very fulfilling. And because I spend so much time like filling my needs, feeling good, hanging out with myself, enjoying it, I don't need it. I don't need that attention. So when somebody gives me only like, you know, sexual innuendo type comments and stuff like that, I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't care how cute you look in your picture. I don't care, you know, how much you say that you think I'm cool or whatever. I can tell that you're really not mature enough or grounded enough or wise enough or even maybe that interested in who I am enough for me to like care about the attention. So I don't hold on to it. I'm like, take a number. Literally take a number. We're on 68 now. You can just get in a line and you can like, if you're not here for anything more than this, I'm not here for that. So, but the financial thing for me, being consistent with my business, that's where this is true for me. So you kind of have to suss out exactly like where you're seeing this energy play out most in your life. It can be in both areas, but usually one thing or the other is a little more dominant. So your higher self is saying, change your ways, okay? Now we're going to say, okay, how do I do that? And they're going to give you some advice. So this version of self is telling you to see that abundance there. Look at that 10 of Pentacles. And that's coming out with the Knight of Cups. Now this is a much different energy. Look at how we're pouring some water here on the... We're dumping some water on this fire energy of the Knight of Wands with this Knight of Cups card. Very beautiful. I love that synchronicity. So we're putting out the fire. This isn't, and obviously you want to have fire and passion in your life. So we're not, putting out the fire in your life completely. But what we're doing is we're putting out this tendency to be impulsive, reactive, or allow energy that's only got kind of just the physical connection in mind. We're pouring some water on that. We're not that interested in that anymore. The Ten of Pentacles is all about, in your mind, thinking in a way that is like I'm in a place now where I can be like, I have so many options for dating, okay? But I'm not in that place for money. I don't think like I have so many options for attracting abundance. I feel really limited there. So I can see that I need to shift my mindset about how there are a lot of opportunities for me. There are a lot of ways for income to flow to me. And that's another meaning of this card, which is flow. If I open myself to receive, there's all this abundance I can receive. So this version of yourself is telling you it really is simple. You have to think about your life, this life that you're envisioning, the one that I have, this version of, not me personally, but this version of self, this version. Look at how we're getting that shape. It's referencing that same pyramid shape here with a completely different deck. I really love that synchronicity. So that version of self is telling you, you really need to take this vision of my life, which I just told you is the bee's knees, and you need to be thinking about it all the time. All the time. I'm hearing it all the time when you are, and you have to think about where your energy is going right now. Like, I just watched a true crime documentary with my sister about it was the TikTok star murders or whatever. It was on Peacock, and we just watched it together. And so for the last hour and a half, I was just thinking about how horrible this narcissistic, abusive person was. That's where my thoughts were. Now, I don't think you have to be in a situation where you never watch anything that's true crime, or you never watch a horror movie, or never. I don't think that's the case. But it's like, if you look at all the hours that you're awake during the day, and you start to think about how many of those hours you spend thinking about what you don't want, thinking about things that are negative, thinking about things that don't make you feel good, and then you think, okay, how much time did I spend visualizing my future? How much time did I spend imagining myself driving in my Bentley that's given to me as a gift? Okay, because that's what I want. I want to just give it to me. So how often have I don't even really care about. I just said Bentley because I was talking about like losing one car and getting a nicer car, but I don't really care if I have a Bentley, although it would be cool. I wouldn't be like, oh, I hate this. But just this idea of like how much time did I spend today thinking about riding around in this nice new car that's just given to me and is paid for, and I spent zero amount of time doing that. I did spend time talking about how my car was repossessed. I talked about how I don't have a car now. My sister saw somebody was selling a car, like somebody that would be a good person to buy a car from. I don't have a car now. My sister saw somebody was selling a car, like somebody that would be a good person to buy a car from. You have to constantly be thinking about what you do want as much as you possibly can. Write it in your journal. Make vision boards. And if you like The Sims, join me on Twitch, because I'm going to start live streaming Twitch, playing The Sims and using it for virtual vision boarding, because it's really fun to do that, where you create a character and you just like make the life that you want and use cheat codes to do it. It's really fun and I highly recommend it. But you should be doing things like that. That is going to help you open up to receive. And your feeling should be that you're really going with the flow, because when you're thinking about what you want, the universe starts to line up all those events that lead you where you want to go, as long as you're going with the flow. Okay, so that's how you're going to get into that energy. The final card, if I do what you're telling me to do, what am I going to expect will shift, let's say, in the next 7 days? If I start to do this, what will shift in the next 7 days? This Hermit energy will shift and change here. This being alone, feeling alone. Remember, the transformation was the single and independent energy that this person is going through. So this version of self is going through. So this being by yourself and not enjoying it, that's going to shift completely. When you start to really enjoy being with yourself and thinking about all the things you want and really just getting excited about it, You're shifting out of an energy where the hermit energy feels like a very bad feeling to you. Instead, being alone is kind of nice. You value your alone time because it's a time where you get to imagine and dream and enjoy your manifestations. Because one time my sister pointed out to me, I've spent a lot of time in isolation and alone in my life. I've had many periods of time where I have been away from friends, away from family, and just on my own. During COVID from 2020 to the end of 2021, I was completely by myself in my apartment. I lived in downtown Los Angeles, and it was very isolating. In Los Angeles, if you live in downtown and someone else lives in like Highland Park or the Valley or the West Side, you just don't see them. Like, they just don't come and visit you. It just doesn't happen. So I was just there alone. And my sister pointed out to me once that during that time, I actually grew my tarot, my TikTok account. This is my second account. My first account is my music account. It's called Pearl's Prayers. I grew that to over 20,000 followers. And I started this account actually in 2022 so I could separate and have tarot be a separate thing from my music and have two different things. And she pointed out to me that it would probably have been way less likely that I would have done that if I was constantly surrounded by people who doubted my ability to be able to do that. The fact that the fact that I was like living in my little dream world and just being like, I'm a TikTok star and I'm like, like no one was challenging that. Interestingly, when I moved back to my parents in 2022, which I was only supposed to be here for a couple months while I found another place, and I've been here since that day, being back in a place where people see the old self-concept of you made it extremely difficult for me to get back into the feeling I had when I was living in my own apartment in LA. It was an affordable housing apartment. It was not in a great neighborhood, but it was mine. And no one could come in and challenge that reality I was creating for myself. So it's interesting how this energy of the hermit is actually really helpful for manifesting what you desire. You can do hermit energy around people as well. Sometimes that's in a negative way, but sometimes it's in a positive way. If you're in a room full of people that are complaining about the status quo, you go inside of yourself and start imagining how your life is so drastically different from the people around you and how they will react when all of their limiting beliefs are challenged when you walk through the door with your Bentley key on your keychain and say, oh, look what the universe just gave me. And they'll all be like, what? Because they can't see that reality. You see it within you. So that's something that will really shift for you. You will enjoy being alone because you will see it as a time where you get to be extremely creative. The other thing that I'm seeing here is the Page of Cups. This is heart-centered, playful, joyful energy. It's a really, really positive. Look how it's just like the heart is like bursting, feeling a lot of joy. This is really feeling like a child again, like a kid again, who gets to imagine this dream life that you have and actually get to experience it because your imagination is so good that reality has to conform to it. One of the side effects of this reading that I'm doing right now, which I call the parallel reality reading, is you're going to start to have glitches happen in your current reality because you started to get into the mindset of this other version of self. And so I predict within the next 7 days, you're going to start to have weird things happen that are like one time I have had a lot of debt in my life. I went to Berklee College of Music when I was married to somebody that had a decent living. And he was a financially abusive partner. And when I divorced from him, it ruined me financially. So I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans when I left Berklee because Berklee College of Music is like extremely expensive. It's like $30,000 a semester. It's like going to Harvard basically, except you're not a doctor or a lawyer after you're a musician, which I'm really fucking good one. Like you can hear it in the music. That's just really good. But like, so I had all this debt when my marriage ended. Plus I had debt from my marriage. I had a lot of, I had credit card debt. It was because I had to live on my credit card. And when my ex cut off my access to our bank accounts. Like, it was a really challenging time. Time passed, and I was living in Los Angeles. This was during that time I mentioned you, 2020 to 2021. And I was doing a modality with, what's her name? It's called like howtomanifest.com, Lacey Phillips. And she has this thing called Deep Imaginings, where you go and you like go into a meditation, and it's like a kind of a hypnosis, and you call in actually a different version of yourself, a higher version of yourself, whatever the version of yourself that has everything you want, and you just have conversation with them, and you pay attention what they're wearing, and if you because that's your most authentic self, how they talk, how they act. And there was a challenge I had where I was supposed to go and take stock of all of my finances, which was something I was very scared to do. And one of the first things I was supposed to do, hi Rose, glad to see you too. One of the first things, and Amy, hi Amy, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you here. So one of the first things I had to do was go get my credit report, and I was really scared about it. I was like, oh God, I don't want to see this. I downloaded my credit report, and all of my debt was gone. And I don't mean like, oh, it's been 7 years and there's no debt. I mean that when you would click on the different obligations, it would say that the accounts were paid in full or closed, but not closed like this is closed and it still leaves a mark on your report. Like, there is no more debt. And to this day, I have no idea why. And like, when I've gone back to my credit report again, you can see that all those hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans are paid in full. And there's no other creditor. It's not like they sold the debt and there's another creditor on the report. It's just gone. I didn't follow up on it, because why would you? I just was like, okay. And then I took my ass to a car dealership and I bought a car in 2022. Unfortunately, I came back here into my old self-concept. This is literally my high school bedroom, into a family that had a lot of challenges with money. And not surprisingly, after 2 years of living here, I no longer have the car. But realizing that those deep imaginings I was doing with Lacey Phillips, which I highly recommend, it's howtomanifest.com, I think. If you can get a buddy to do it with you and split the cost, it's actually really good. That's what I did. My friend and I both did the program together, so we would do the different journaling things, and we would read it, and we would share like everything we learned. It was really, really effective. I'm realizing I should probably do it again, because it definitely helped me. But that version of self had no debt and created a situation where I didn't have debt. Now I have debt again, but it's not hundreds of thousands like it was before, at least according to my credit report. So very interesting. You will see glitches happen this week, just even from hearing this reading. You'll see glitches. There'll be weird things like that. You'll be like, there'll be conversations you had that are suddenly, you never had them. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Thank you so much for the heart. Okay, let's look at the final oracles that came out for this beautiful reading. We have Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide, which is so interesting because it's coming up with the 10 of Pentacles and the Empress card and the Queen of Pentacles, which there's a lot of abundance coming through this reading, and it's literally confirming this oracle for us. So let's get the advice from Buffalo Spirit. Also, want to hear something crazy? The next song, it's called Bison and Butterfly. So the next song on my playlist is this bison here. Number 10, which is a completion energy, just like that 10 of Pentacles. And the message here is, Buffalo Spirit comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude and the extraordinary potential available to you when you do what? When you adopt a mindset of abundance. The ancient people of the Americas saw the buffalo as a symbol of abundance because the herds roamed far and wide and provided so many gifts: the meat, the hide, the bones. The tribe hunted the buffalo used every bit of them, wasting nothing, appreciative of the abundance. So too, do you have many gifts available to you. Buffalo Spirit appears to let you know that you are in a powerful time to manifest your desires, not by force or pushing, but rather by what? Going with the flow, just like we saw. This is literally the advice that your higher version of self already gave you. By flowing, by following a natural path that rises up before you, trusting that there is always plenty to go around, whether it be love, money, inspiration, or support. It's all there for you to claim. When you are grateful, you immediately align yourself with the truth that the world is rich and teeming with resources. There is always more than enough, and you are always enough. At this time, you can expect all your intentions and needs to come into a form that is right for you. Your heartfelt gratitude is making you a magnet for miracles. Buffalo Spirit's message is to remember that you co-create your reality in partnership with Spirit. So offer up your thanks and your prayers even before you see conditions you desire, not just for yourself, but for others too. Then you will quickly see the results in tangible ways. Gratitude has the magic to grow the good, so offer thanks and praise as you acknowledge all that you have and all that is possible. Now, I'm going to hazard a guess that many of you here are witchy people and have probably more power than you realize. And I want to warn you about something that I just learned again. This is a lesson I've had before, and I had it just recently again. And that lesson is that when you offer gratitude for something that you haven't received yet, it works faster than any other modality I have ever tried for manifesting something. The problem is that you need to be extremely specific. For instance, I have a little gratitude journal right here, and I write in it at least one thing I'm grateful for. I try to write a little bit more than that. And let's see what day I did it. Here we go. On July 17th, I said, I am so grateful. I am filled with appreciation for my car being registered, because my car registration finally came through on that day. And then I wrote, and so grateful for paying it off with no issues at all. Okay. The next day, my car was repossessed. Now you might think, well, that's not what you wrote. But what I said was, it was paid off with no issues at all. The kicker being that when this car is repossessed, they will sell it. And because it has been sitting in my driveway, barely driven, with less than 40,000 miles on it, in excellent condition, that loan will be paid off in its entirety really quickly. So next time when I write that I'm thankful, I'm going to be specific. I'm going to say something like, I'm so thankful that I received a lump sum of money to pay off my car because I got what I asked for in a less comfortable way than I really wanted it to. So be specific when you are grateful for something that hasn't happened yet. Take my advice. All right, the next card that's coming up is the Great Gathering, and it's telling you, this is really crazy. It's saying it's all coming together, intuitive hits and soul tribe. And the fact that it's saying it's all coming together, and the fact that this reading is about asking this version of self that has everything that you want, how did you make all of these pieces come together? And the advice is really just believing that it's all coming together. But let's get the actual, I just saw it. Oh my God, I didn't have to look it up for an hour. What a gift. You are being called to let your intuition move you physically. Okay? You are connected to a group of souls who are weaving a web around the planet, and as you travel and share your creations, something is rethreaded. This card is an acknowledgement that you are either being called to connect with others who are like you at a soul level, or that you already are. You are being called to gather groups of people either by leading them or becoming part of a group that can support you in your soul's personal mission. You are part of a group of souls who agreed to be here at this time in history to heal yourself, your ancestral line, and the planet. to raise consciousness so that we can continue to call the magnificent place home for eras, this magnificent place home for eras to come. One of many consciously choosing to devote your life to something greater than yourself. It is time to call in your tribe by sharing your soul's voice and letting yourself be seen. When you share what is real and true to you, and you share the medicine that you most need, those who are like you will gather around you. You are your tribe. They are just like you. And just as you are longing and searching for them, they are longing and searching for you too. Your work your light activation is to say, repeat after me, I choose now to let myself be seen. I am ready to call in my soul tribe and create a web of light all over the planet. So this version of self is also indicating that as you start to envision this abundance, as you start to show gratitude for something before you've even received it, like be thankful that this version of self has everything that that version of self desires. Like if you are having a hard time being thankful for it because it's not here, and when you're like, well, I think I can't, it's not really here, then be thankful that that version of self has it so that version of self can show you. They're saying that as you start to do that, to shift into that mindset, everything is going to line up for you. All of it is going to come together, and other people of like mindset that are already in that version of your reality are going to appear. Your final card, this is the self-care activity. Remember, I imbue the self-care activity with a lot of power. When you do the self-care activity, you can choose something. In this case, I would suggest shifting into this version of self. Every time you do this, it helps to shift you into that version of self without you even thinking about it. Because it is actually much better for you to just know something is going to happen and let go of it. So every time you do this activity, you are saying to yourself that what you have asked for is happening, and this is like a magic spell. This is like a magic spell that makes it happen. This is to use aromatherapy. That's so funny because I do lives a lot, and I do not always start my lives by lighting incense and 2 candles. That's not something I always do. And I was literally just sitting here thinking about how great my room smells right now because I have this vetiver and cedarwood candle going here. And then I have this sea salt and orchid from Bare Naturals Candles by Lady Luna, who you might know. She's one of the readers who I collaborate with. And then I lit a lavender incense stick tonight, and it smells incredible in here. So I think it's so interesting that I already did that. Like I was already shifting into that version of self that has the life that I want to lead. And that's just a real confirmation for me. So every time that you engage in aromatherapy, you are stepping into this version of self. The version of self that the rooms you live in smell good, the clothing you wear, the perfume you can buy, your partner. Like, if you're living in this version of your life where you have what you desire, good smells, that's definitely something that's there. Like, think about when you go to a spa and you're like, oh my God, it smells incredible in here. Like, I just could live here forever. I really hate this live verification stuff. It's so annoying. Verify to continue. So when you're making your space like this, when you're creating that like really beautiful smelling space and it just feels good, or you're wearing scented oils or perfumes or whatever, you are stepping into that version of self. It's helping you literally cross into that version, or like tune in. Let's say tune in, because that's tuned in tarot is my whole shtick. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the mantra. The mantra is, I'm in touch with all my senses and find bliss in exploring them. And then your journal prompt is, what is your favorite scent from childhood and what does it remind you of? There may be some really important information about that scent, whatever it is. Try to think back on what it might be. Oh, for me, it was the church. And I really dug frankincense, and I remember that as a kid. That makes sense because I really do like spiritual stuff. That's super in alignment with me. So again, one more time on that mantra. I'm in touch with all my senses and find bliss in exploring them. So that version of self that you want to be, that is somebody who is really in touch with their senses and enjoys exploring their senses. And look at how that is really reminding me of this card here that was in the underlying energy of what was totally transforming for this version of self. Excuse me. That's caught me by surprise. Oh my gosh, I did not expect to sneeze. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Lady Luna, I was just showing off your candle to the masses. My sea salt and orchid candle. And I know beautiful Lady Luna is sending me my birthday present because my birthday is on July 31st, which is not too far away. And she basically, I got to pick out my scents, and I think I ended up getting did I get the orchard for the candle? I can't remember. Or October winds, I mean. I can't remember if I did. Oh yeah, I've been doing these late lives on Monday nights because I don't work on Tuesdays. My uncle is still in the hospital, just to update Luna because I know she probably is curious. He's still in the hospital. It is still touch and go. He's still in critical condition, but there are some positive things, like his kidneys have started working again, which is a really big deal. Like that was I think we all felt a little relieved about that. And then his blood pressure is stabilizing. His temperature is still up, and they're really not quite sure exactly what's causing the temperature to continue to rise, because they're giving him antibiotics and everything, and they can see visually like one source of infection, but they don't know if there's another one that they can't find. And so that's what they're basically trying to do right now, is just figure out like, why is this happening? So still welcoming prayers and good thoughts and vibes for him to recover. He's a chef, an incredible chef actually. I have such good memories of him. He used to be the head chef, and he ran the Thousand Islands Yacht Club in Wellesley Island. And when I graduated from high school, I spent that summer working at that yacht club. I would play the piano there. I would bus tables. I would do the books and some of the kitchen prep stuff. And it was this big, old, beautiful hotel. It was very shining though, because I stayed there with him. He stayed in like one of the suites in the hotel, and I would stay in a suite there with them, and it was very huge, creepy old fucking hotel. Like, it was super creepy, but it was very cool. I enjoyed that experience. And I was thinking about all my good memories with him today and trying to picture him like at his youngest, most vibrant. He's had a lot of loss, and it's been a struggle for him. And so I'm hoping that he pulls through this and it kind of like wakens him up again, and he, kind of gets a zest for life, which a lot of times happens when you are faced with potentially losing it. So I'm praying for the best and hoping for the best, but I do appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers in that matter. I saw that you have a reading with me. Is it on the August 1st? Is that when it is? Oh, no. It's this coming Wednesday? I don't even know. I haven't looked at it. I should be okay, but I'll let you know. My son is getting here tonight, and I'm spending all of tomorrow with him, and then he's staying through the 27th, so he ignores me all day. He usually sleeps until 2, and because he stays up late with my brother, so I'm sure I'll be able to do it. July 24th. Yeah, I think that's, I have a very light schedule, so that I should be okay for that day. But I'll let you know if there's any complications, or if I have to go to Syracuse to the hospital or anything. I'll let you know. But thank you for offering to shift it if we need to. I appreciate that. But anyway, it's so good to see everybody tonight. I do appreciate you all. I'm going to put this on YouTube because I think that parallel reality reading was really good. So I will download this tomorrow and I will upload it on YouTube. So there will be some content there for you tomorrow. You can also go to passes.com/pearlsprayers. There's extended content there. And I might actually post like only the parallel version reading on YouTube, and then the whole live stream will be on Passes. So if you got a reading tonight, you can see your reading again, or whatever. So I will probably do that tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be Wednesday morning. Sometimes I don't feel like doing work type stuff, but I'll definitely try to download it tomorrow. I tried to download a couple of my lives like a couple weeks ago when I said I was going to post them on Passes, and like I couldn't get them to download. So I'm hoping that this will work tomorrow, but by hook or by crook, because that parallel reality reading was like the bomb.com. All right, everybody, I am gonna go. My son should be here soon. He drove here after work, so he's gonna get here kind of late. He came from Massachusetts, so I want to be there when he gets here. But I love you all. I will see you probably Friday, maybe Thursday. I don't know. We'll see. But I will definitely be back on Sunday for the general week ahead reading. There is already a reading there if you want to go watch that on Tuned In Tarot YouTube. And normally I do a Friday love reading as well. Those are like my two solid ones I always do. I sometimes do a financial reading on Thursday. So it just kind of depends on what's going on this week. Thank you. I will see you all later. Good night.